Chapter 10. Hunger wakes me. My stomach feels like it has shrunk to the size of a robin's egg. It's searching for any last bits of food so it can expand again. In the gray dawn light, I unscrew my water bottle and take a gulp, then another, hoping to quiet my growling stomach. I unpeeled the last bit of wrapper on the last half of my last Snickers bar. This time I hold each bite and count to 50. Morning, Tony. Denver is pouring hot water into a bowl at the other end of the shelter. The smell of oatmeal hits my nose, thick and rich with brown sugar and cinnamon. I have to leave immediately, or I'm going to pounce on Denver's breakfast. Morning. I crumble my Snickers wrapper into my empty bear bag and shove it into my pack along with everything else. I'm going to hit the trail early. Sounds good. Denver holds a spoonful of oatmeal to his mouth and blows. I can barely look at him. But when you get to Lonesome, wait up for us. The next stretch of trail is going to be pretty tough, and you shouldn't be doing it alone. Sean looks up from stuffing his mouth with the peanut butter-covered bagel. Denver, we're not dragging this kid with us for our entire trip. Sean, chill out. Denver glares at his friend. Fine. If he can keep up, he can stay with us. But if not, we're ditching him. Sean takes another bite of his bagel and turns his back to me. I try not to let Sean get to me. See you guys, I say as casually as I can, and head out. Lonesome Lake, Lonesome Lake, Lonesome Lake. I match the name of the place with food to the beat of my hunger pangs. I have given up looking at the forest around me. All I want to do is eat. I start thinking of the delicious things Gran would make for me. Homemade waffles, hot from the waffle iron, covered in strawberries and whipped cream and drizzled with Hershey's chocolate syrup. Lasagna with its layers of wide noodles and soft ricotta and beefy tomato sauce covered in melty, bubbling mozzarella. A whole roast chicken with brown, crisped skin sliced into long, tender pieces and eaten with smooth heaps of buttery mashed potatoes. Apple pie, still warm, served with a wedge of cheddar cheese and a tall glass of milk. Gran, a pang of guilt shoots through me. I think about the letter I wrote her the night before leaving for the trail. Hunching over a piece of loose leaf, biting my pen so hard between every couple of words that the plastic shell broke before I was done. Gran, you have always been there for me. When Mom and Dad left me at the hospital, you stayed and held my hand and kept me safe. After what happened with me and Lucas, when I just wanted to hide from the world forever, you made sure I got out of bed every morning. You made me brush my teeth and eat my breakfast and face the day. You are awesome and I love you, but I have to go away. I know you probably know where I'm heading, but please don't come searching for me. I need to be by myself for a while. Don't worry, I'll be back before school starts, I promise. But I need to do something first. Love, Toby. I'd placed the note on the kitchen table the next morning when she was out on her weekly errand run, knowing that she wouldn't be back for hours. Then I had put on my pack and headed for the trail. Now I am staring at my feet, pushing one foot in front of the other, thinking about food and Gran, and trying so sorry guys, hard not to collapse that I barely notice anything until the silver glimmer of Lonesome Lake comes flashing through the trees. Then I look up and I see a dash of movement out of the corner of my eye. 4 legs, a familiar scruff, ratty fur as gnarled as a bird's nest. It's the dog. He is uncertain, skittering forward 2 steps, then hopping back 1. I stop and unsling my pack to look half as intimidating. Slowly I bend my knees until I am level with him. A soft, clumsy whistle comes through my mouth. My hand stretches out, open-palmed. Here, boy, I say. The dog's nose quivers. He is suspicious. If the only kindness he has received is food, then an empty hand must mean something bad. I keep my hand still. Hey, I'm not going to hurt you, but I don't have any food left. I'm talking to a dog. It feels natural and good. I push my hand out a tiny bit more. Long seconds pass. My thighs are burning and my knees start to jiggle back and forth, but I keep my hand steady. The dog comes. His wet nose brushes my fingers and he licks the palm of my hand. He must have found a smudge of food because he keeps on licking, but he does not bite. My heart jumps with a fierce kind of joy. For the first time in my life, I feel needed. This dog has eaten my spaghetti supper, my block of cheese, and now he's looking to me for help. I reach down to pet his head. Instantly, the dog is crouched backwards with his lips starched, a low growl in his throat. I can see his yellow-stained teeth, the dark pink of his inner cheeks. He's telling me with every bristling hair that he doesn't want to be touched. I feel a pang of hurt. He doesn't trust me yet. And then I stand and turn around and the dog is still growling. And now I see why. 50 feet away, its hooves sinking in the soft mud of the trail, is a moose. I have only a moment to take in the size of the animal, its chest bigger than a raging full-grown bull. Before its massive shoulders tighten, it lowers its head and paws the ground. I turn to run, and a calf with gangly legs stumbles out from the bushes on the trail. I had been concentrating so hard on making the dog my friend that I hadn't noticed that I had gotten in between a mama moose and her baby. If I run toward the calf, the mama will think I'm attacking it. If I run toward the mama, I'll be headed straight into a beast with horrible eyesight and a blind desire to trample whatever may be harming her baby. The mama moose snorts. Her long, narrow ears flatten backward and she lowers her head. She doesn't have antlers, but doesn't need any for me to be squished like a grape. A charging moose, it's a big thing, and a bad one. The mama moose starts galloping toward me. I scream at myself to get out of the way, but suddenly I am back in the car that hurtled me toward Lucas. With the rise of the other moose's body rocketing toward the window by my head, I hear the sounds of glass shattering and sirens wailing. And then I see me and Lucas in the hospital and the bright white of our new cast. I know I have to move, but my boots are pinned to the dirt. There is a blur of dirty fur, and the dog hurtles out from behind me. He plants himself directly in front of my scared, shaking body and barks 3 times, loud and low. The moose thunders towards us. As she nears, the dog leaps up, nipping at her broad chest. She swerves to avoid him and crashes into the underbrush off the trail. She does not slow down as she heads towards her baby, and as she passes, I take in the short, coarse hairs on her side, the dark scabs around her knees, the sloping hump of her neck, her powerful jaw muscles bulging, her wild smell of swamp and mountains. And then she has passed me and with her calf, and they both go running down the trail toward the lake. The dog trots back to me. This time when I put my hand out, he nuzzles his head under it. Good dog, I say. The words don't feel like they're enough. It feels strange not to have a name for an animal that saved your life. I scratch behind his ears and look him full in the face. You know what? Your name is Moose. From now on, I promise to take care of you, and when we get to Lonesome Lake Hut, you're going to have a feast like you've never had before.